Well, Mali, Egypt, both hot topics at a global town hall hosted today by U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. And joining me now with the details is our State Department correspondent, Scott Stearns. Welcome to In Focus, Scott. So I understand this is the 59th such town hall that Secretary Clinton has held since she took over that office in 2009. What is the objective of these and what came up regarding Mali, Egypt and other hotspots on the continent?
She's tried to use these town halls to broaden U.S. foreign policy so that it's not just a conversation between secretaries or foreign ministers, but to have more of a conversation, especially with young people, which was the focus of today's town hall. On Mali, Secretary Clinton spoke of the need for the international community to help Mali fend off Islamists who would undermine the country. As you know, the United States, in addition to airlifting in French supplies and some of the ECOWAS troops, is now helping in the aerial refueling of French fighter jets, stepping up that cooperation, though U.S. officials have made clear there will not be U.S. boots on the ground, so to speak, in Mali. Secretary Clinton, again, talking about the need for this ECOWAS force and balancing it, modeling it on the success that she says we've seen with the AMISOM force in Somalia.
Now, also, Secretary Clinton made mention of the fact that Benghazi was her biggest regret. What prompted that question?
Well, I mean, it's a natural question that one would ask someone leaving a job, and that was her response, that the loss of life in Benghazi was her biggest regret as Secretary of State, and that she's working to implement the recommendations of an accountability review to make sure that those security lapses don't happen again.
Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, as you just mentioned, a lot of these questions were coming from youth. Did they ask any particular question about what they want to see happen more, say, between U.S. and Africa? Was that a question that came up?
Not specifically that question on African issues. She was asked about if she's hopeful about the continent, and she said she was. That clearly there are a lot of challenges in Africa, but there have been some recent successes. She spoke of the successful transition of power in Malawi following the death of the president there, that the elections in Ghana, where following the death of the Ghanaian president, but then his vice president had to run in open elections. Mm-hmm. It was a question from Nigeria, and she said again that the success of Nigeria's democratic process is crucial because anchor countries like Nigeria, she said, who not only have to deal with their own domestic problems, but who are expected to help out in regional crises like Mali.
Now, very briefly, Scott, President Obama said that Secretary Clinton will go down as one of the best secretaries of state that the country had ever had. Did that resonate with the participants of this town hall?
Certainly, a lot of the questions were about Secretary Clinton and her work. There was a plea, not a question, from a student in Germany that Secretary Clinton run for president in 2016. That's an issue that's dogged her since she took this job. She said again today, at present, that's not her intention.
Thank you so much, Scott Stearns. And of course, Secretary Clinton's last day, I believe, is February 1st, Friday. Scott Stearns reporting live from the State Department for us here on In Focus.
Now, we want to know what you think about In Focus and the stories we cover. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is VOA In Focus. And you can check our Africa headlines 24/7 at voaafrica.com.